Okay, YouTube, this is Mike here with part two of the bug out guide. Now, I think I left off last at the um, logistical supply drops. Okay, now it's important to remember the location uh, of your LSDs and make sure that you use a map and a compass and visual references to remember where they are. Because if you use a GPS, the GPS system might no longer work by the time you need uh, your stuff. So if you have a map and you remember, because it's you dropped it off in the first place, so you should remember where you put it. Okay, now remember not to leave any clues that might give away the location of other logistical supply drops. Okay, point number four. Um, Point number four is brief your spouse and your family on the general information of the bug out plan. You don't want to give too much information because if your spouse is not receptive to the idea that you guys might have to bug out one day, she might openly talk about it and might give away information, and then you might not have your stuff when you need it, or it might become a threat. Okay, and the same for your children. Your children might give away some important information that people would probably, want to know, especially after the collapse happens. Now, remember that after 4 days of walking, you want to have your logistical supply drop to be there. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. Uh, Now, don't know if I mentioned this already, but if you get to your supply drop and it's no longer there, it's an issue, yes, but you'll have to carry on. You'll have to hunt, fish, or barter items with people in the local area to get some more resources, but only barter for resources as much as you need to get to your next logistical supply drop. Okay, there's no need to barter all your items for a bunch of stuff that you can't carry on you, anyways. Now, the point number four is important. Get you and your family fit. Okay, if you're slightly overweight or obese, this is not meant to be discriminatory towards you, but it's a reality. Uh, you put a lot of strain on yourself, on your health, by going out and walking for days on end. Uh, and so, if you start now to get fit, uh, you don't need to lose a ton of weight. You just need to increase your cardio, and you need to feel a bit more in shape. That'll increase your chance of surviving. Okay, point number four, you need to stop waste and gather your resources. Okay, it's important that you save some food and fuel and material that you'll need in order to survive. Okay, you need to engage in proper resource management. These you stuff as easy as selling any unused item in your house. Uh, you might say that you have an emotional attachment to a lot of the stuff that you have, but that emotional attachment is not going to help you when shit has hit the fan and you can no longer buy goods and services from stores and stuff. Okay, you need to buy hand tools, gardening tools, and books that teach you how to grow food. You need to get seeds and all gardening equipment. You need to get that now before the collapse happens because these things are going to be next to impossible to get after. You need to prepare your bug out location, okay, and ensure that your location will be able to support you and your family. You need to establish a friendly relationship with your neighbors. If your entire neighborhood comes together, it makes it that much more difficult for looters to operate in your area. You want to engage in cooperation with neighbors, but never contribute more than you can afford to lose. Because some people will take and take and take and they won't give anything back in return. And then if you give everything you have, and you'll just realize that you're hooped. Uh, Now, never share your bug out plan or the location of your logistical supply drops with anyone from your neighborhood or any of your friends or anybody that would not be trustworthy. Okay, and the reason for that is after the collapse happens, they're gonna go and steal your stuff because they want to ensure their own survival, and that's just normal. Okay, now you want to arm yourself according to the law of your area. Um, if your state law indicates you cannot own a pistol, then fine. You know, purchase a good rifle. I would recommend a 22 LR caliber. It might not be good to protect you against bigger weapons, but it will be good for you to hunt medium to small game. And you can carry a fair bit of ammunition on you, especially if you're walking. Uh, and the ammunition is fairly cheap, so that is a good caliber to own. Now, more parts will be added to this guide, but for now, I'd like to switch over for a demonstration of a couple that decided to bug out of their city. Okay, now the situation is the California has fully collapsed, and the governor has declared a full state of emergency, and people are starting to riot in the downtown core of the main cities. Uh, San Diego is affected, Los Angeles is affected, and San Francisco is also affected. Most major cities are affected, but they have not yet closed off access to in and out of the major centers. So Mr. and Mrs. Bloggins, which are fictitious characters, there's nothing about this example that is correct except that the locations do exist, but they're just used to exemplify the points made in the guide. So the Bloggins reside in the Gardena neighborhood of Los Angeles. They live in the 15,400 block of Perron Avenue, which you can find on the map. And then they have relatives who live in Aspen Dell, not Dale, but it's Dell. So ELL. Okay. And those relatives have resources that will enable them to survive. So the goal of this couple is to travel from 15,400 Perron Avenue to 142 Cardinal Road in Aspen Dell, California. Okay, so now to prepare for this plan, Mr. Bloggins used Google Map to find the most effective route for him to take. Okay, and now I'll be going over the plan that Mr. Bloggins will be following, uh, and so I'll be going into that in part three. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, leave them at the usual place, and I'll see you in part three. Thank you very much. Bye.